Well, this is Sheila back with the third part of the tutorial. I'm going to cast off the stitches for the shoulder. As you can see, the marker there. Get my tape measure. My measurements 8.5 inches from the marker, the little mark in front of the marker. So that's my 8.5 inches, and I'm now going to shape the shoulders. So to shape the shoulders, I'm going to cast off 11 stitches at the beginning of the next 4 rows, and I'm going to do them in the same pattern that comes knit 2, purl 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's the first 11 stitches, and I'm going to knit across that row in whatever pattern order it comes in. And now I'll meet you at the end of that row. And now at the last few stitches. And I'm going to cast off another 11 stitches, but just purl wise, because that's the way the pattern is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to knit across that row. That's the stitches casted off there. We're going to purl across that row, not knit anyway. And I will meet you at the end of that row. And now we're going to cast off another 11 stitches at the start of the next row. And for this one I'm just slipping the first stitch so you don't get such a big step from this part up to the next part. So just slip the first stitch, whatever stitch comes next. It's a purl on this one, and slip that stitch over. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There, that's 11 stitches. And then, as you can see, that was where I slipped the stitch instead of knitting it. If I knitted it, you would have had a higher step coming up here. But if you slip it, it keeps it more in line with the cast off stitches. So I'm now going to knit across this row to the other side. And I will meet you at the end of that row. Now I'm going to cast off the next 11 stitches on the purl side. And as before, I'm slipping the first stitch and purling the next one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then I'm going to purl across that row, and I will catch you at the end of that row. So that is the stitches cast off on both sides, and now we are left with 36 stitches for the back of the neck. It was originally going to be a button up, which if it had been a button up I would have put those stitches onto a holder, but when I messaged Angela, she said she would like a V-neck, so it's going to be a V-neck. So I'm going to cast off those stitches now. And as it's a knit row, it's exactly the same as what I did with those lot. You're casting off in the stitches that you would have done in pattern. The first stitch, going to slip, and just cast off loosely, but not too loosely. Any looseness can be taken up when you put the when you stitch the band around for the V-neck. And I will meet you at the end of that because there's a lot of stitches to cast off. So that is the back completely finished. The stitches casted off for the neck here, and the stitches on both sides for the shoulders. And as you can see, the shape for the armhole there. I wish I had a wider range camera like to show this all in one, but I think I need a new one. And this side here for the shoulders, the armhole. And this is a measurement for a you see the measurement. It's just a little bit more than 46, but when you sew up you lose probably about ½ an inch on the seam, so this is going to actually measure 46 inches when it's finished. So that's my back finished, and the instructions again when the phone clears. Now that was doing the back. I was left with 80 stitches. I continued in pattern until the back measured 8.5 inches, and for my 8.5 inches it was 66 rows to the shoulder. And he cast off 11 stitches beginning of the next 4 rows, and then cast off the remaining 36 stitches. And for the left front, I haven't started, where I've wrote it down what I'm going to do. With 3 25mm needles, cast on 56 stitches and knit 1 by 1 in twisted rib for 20 rows, or 2.5 inches, whichever anybody wants. Change to 4mm needles and knit 2 purl 2 pattern to 15 inches. Now when you do the sides, I had 116 stitches for the back. When you're doing the sides, you half that. That would make it 58 stitches. But I've just got 56 stitches because you do have the band. When the band comes on, that makes up for a few extra stitches on the front that you don't need. So I've just cast on 56 stitches for the side. And I will come back with part 4 when I start knitting the left front. So that's my little bit for now. So thumbs up and subscribe. And I will let you see part 4 when I get around to it. So bye for now.